No, conservative men don't want that in their house. They want children raised by mom. That's what young men are increasingly wanting. They want to return to traditional roles. You can yell about it. It's what they want. It's what men want. If you want to go after what you want, fine, but you can't have all of it. This also comes back to we talk about justice today versus appeasement, but also appeasement as it relates to feminism. And I will tell you this. Now, I've done Megyn Kelly's show. She's been on this show quite a few times. I think she's right on a lot of things. This has been creating a bit of a firestorm. I don't want to spend too much time on it because it doesn't warrant all that much time. I do want to set this up, though. This comes down to what kind of role models, what do we want to venerate in society? What do we believe is the ideal for young men, how they want to grow up, and young women? And there's a problem right now with a lot of young women who are single. They claim they can't find good men. And in I believe 30 years' time, it's going to be 60% of women are going to be single. And men have been very clear about what they want in women for a long time. Feminists outright refuse. And then there are people like Megyn Kelly, who I don't believe is a feminist, but they also try and change what it is that men want by telling us that it's not actually what we want. But I think we kind of want it. Here's Megyn Kelly.
How did we get to the point where we're now telling young, conservative, amazing women that they're not attractive if they also work, if they choose to, let's say, do what I'm doing and what you're doing and like get their voice out there? But I'll stick with me just because I think conservatives listening to this will like the thought of another Megyn Kelly voice up and coming. Well, why wouldn't we want that? Why would we take somebody who's talented in this field and really wants to make a difference and have the messaging to her be, you're really not that valuable unless you give it up and go into the home and
change valuable
have a family
with desirable.
Only raise a family. And not only are we sending her that message, but young men are actually believing that. They're actually believing it, especially on the right, because like the trad mom has gotten so popular. And it's like, no, if we do that, we're not going to have any strong conservative or right-leaning women to provide a role model for younger conservative women who, and there's nothing to apologize for here, don't necessarily want to spend all their 20s and their 30s getting married and having kids, or can't. They just weren't able to meet somebody and definitely don't need to be shamed over it.
Okay, a couple of things. We'll go through the first off. No one's talking about can't.
Right.
Okay. No one's talking about shaming anybody. Who don't want, to use your words, don't want to get married and have a family in their 20s and 30s. Okay, fine, great, got it. Then don't expect to get a family.
Exactly.
It's that you don't want it?
Yeah.
Great. Don't bemoan men when you're in your 40s, because there is a biological window that women have that men don't, to be clear.
Yeah.
And she says, not valuable. No, not desirable. Look, you guys can yell. This is one of those things. You can yell until you're blue in the face. Most men and conservative men don't want that. Like, don't they want another Megyn Kelly? It's good that you're out there, and I think Megyn Kelly has some great points. No, conservative men don't want that in their house. They want children raised by mom. That's what young men are increasingly wanting. They want to return to traditional roles. You can yell about it. It's what they want. It's what men want. If you want to go after what you want, fine, but you can't have all of it. Not every woman can go out, be part of the 0.001% in media, and in some cases, IVF, very expensive, and have that kind of a life. It's not realistic. Most women, if they want to have a family, they need to start looking for a man in their 20s, in their childbearing years, and so that needs to be prioritized. You can prioritize boss babe or wife and mom. You can't have it all. And that's the problem, is you had feminists saying, hey, you should choose, right? You should choose to go into the workplace. And they did. They devalued women at home. But then you had a lot of conservative women come out and go, actually, you can have both. Neither one is helpful. No, most women can't. Some women do. I get it. There's an exception. But most women can't. And a lot of young men say, you know what, we can't really do that. Hey, they're willing to offer up their salary. They're willing to offer up their lives, their livelihood. And they would rather have their children raised by a mom and a wife than daycare. That's their preference. They would rather have role models. Hey, maybe if we have fewer commentators, maybe we'd have more moms.
Or you can be a career lady and a stepmom.
There you go.
There you go. You can do it. Well, you're devaluing. You've been given the gift of life.
That's fine.
Like you can make life.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Like that's
cool.
a pretty cool superpower to have, and to just devalue that and be like, well, I'd rather go out and try to, Megyn Kelly is the exception to the rule, but I'd rather go out and like do podcasts for 10 years to try to make $100,000 in a year at the end of 10 years. So hold on, you just sacrificed 10 years of your life for that?
Yeah.
Why are we telling them that trade? I don't want those role models out there. Fine, you're right. I don't want as many role models out there saying do that because they're going to look back and go, crap.
And by the way, there are tons of men who will share Megyn Kelly's content, who is a voice of reason on many issues, who will share the content and support her as a public figure and a commentator who absolutely would not want Megyn Kelly as a wife. It's not an indictment on your character. No. It's what men prefer.
Or your value, for that matter. That's what she kept mentioning.
Yeah, value.
You're not any less valuable because you took a career and you were successful at it. That's not what anybody's saying here.
You're not any less valuable.
You're adding that to men's mouths. We didn't say that.
Right. No man has ever said, would you look at the career on her? It's never once.
I did. When I saw my wife, she was working at a movie theater. I said, free tickets whenever I want.
Yes.
And yeah,
and she comes home smelling like popcorn.
Yep.
Get out of here.
Extra butter. How about you let Mr. Firestein take care of Firestein's butter?
I did the Oleo.
Unlimited refills? I think so.
Fast and Furious 1 through 40.
Hey, it's about family.
Still?
This is not going to get any better. We're talking about the racial divide in this country that is taking place, really has taken place since Barack Obama. Yeah, the gender divide is not going to get any better. It doesn't take away. There's a difference between value as a human being and value to a workplace or value to a relationship. Does it make you less valuable in the context of a relationship, of a nuclear family, if you are not able or willing or want to be home with the children? To most men, the answer is yes. That makes you less valuable in a relationship. They will opt for someone who wants to do that, especially the good men who you want. The good men who you want, they're saying, hey, I want to be able to provide for you because I want kids to be raised by mom. And let's also, I said I wasn't going to talk about this for a whole lot.
You did say that.
I've been watching The Last of Us, where everyone is gay. Do you have any idea who would be most useless in a post-apocalyptic scenario? 15-year-old lesbians.
Non-producing.
Yeah, 15-year-old lesbians who don't follow orders. You mean I can't do this as well as a man? No, because you're 120 pounds and you're a lesbian. In that scenario, you'd either be a sex slave if you're with the bad guys, or you'd be protected to produce life by the good guys. But do you have any idea how quickly the division of labor goes back to men's work and women's work when you take away your iPhone? They go, okay, we need to survive. We only have 30 people. Of course the women aren't going out hunting. Of course the women aren't going to be in positions of leadership as it relates to teamwork out in the field in a dangerous, high adrenaline scenario. You stay home, protect the children, and we'll make sure that no marauders come up and chain you in their doghouse as a sex slave like at the end of Bone Tomahawk. That's the world you're looking at. Technology has made it an equal division of labor. It's not a thing.
What if she says the F word every 5 seconds?
Yeah, exactly. What if she has a face
really
like the guy
tough.
from Mask?
Hey, that's not nice. She's
rough.
autistic or something.
Something.
That's what I heard.
It's too big of a face with the features in the middle. It's like eye.
You know what she looks like? It's like a little bird.
Yes.
Like a little bird face. It's all right here and then a little beak.
She looks like
I haven't seen this.
tiny
if,
mouth.
if you had a makeup face that you wrapped in a towel and then unwrapped it. Unraveled it.
Okay.
You know, like a three-dimensional. Like, well, that's a big face, but the eyes, that's a perfect 2D print. You know, Shroud of Turin.
I want to see this.
Hey, if you're still watching, this is the part where I increase interactions and tell you to comment below. What do you think? Right, because that works. But if you don't, you can just click one of these videos playing in a similar vein, or it may autoplay. Ooh, that's fun.